Fortunately, we got some drama in Ecuador. This is not your normal drama though. This is something you don't expect. You would never expect. You would think that this place maybe has its own security, its own police staffing members there, but no. For some reason, nobody was around at the time. But apparently, armed gunmen stormed the TV station in Ecuador. Apparently, it was a gang, but I'll let y'all see for yourselves. Let's get into it.
Ecuador's president is declaring a state of emergency amid a wave of violence, mostly gang-related. 13 men now face charges after storming a TV station there with guns during a live broadcast. Ecuador has been known as one of South America's most peaceful countries. This latest attack is among the most dramatic incidents we've seen so far. ABC's Matt Rivers has the latest.
Authorities in Ecuador investigating a brazen attack on a public television station by an apparent armed gang as, quote, acts of terrorism.
Can you believe you're going to work to broadcast just some news that's going on in your city, in your country, in your island, in your land, in your neighborhood, and the cartel or whatever gang this was decides to come storming in with straight bullets, straight explosions, straight guns. This is a scary sight. And we got to talk about this. Let's continue.
The masked men seen here tying crew members on the floor, threatening the staff.
Look at this. This is insane. Can you believe this? This is what's going on out there. Regular people working their 9-to-5 jobs, just reporting on television, and this happens to them. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Waving explosives and guns. Scared staffers inside, desperately pleading for their lives. The live broadcast rolling for almost 15 minutes before going dark. Police then surrounding the area, arresting more than a dozen gunmen. The show's
and the dudes stayed there long enough for them to get arrested. What was the point of this? I'm a little confused because you go there, you just go on camera, throw up gang signs, point guns at the people there. You don't shoot no one. You don't harm no one. Well, you did scare people, but you don't harm anybody. And now you stay there long enough for the police to come and arrest you. It just doesn't add up. I mean, what was the point of doing that?
Deputy director later saying the attack was, quote, extremely violent. Wow. This incident, one of many acts of violence that occurred after Ecuador declared a state of emergency Monday, following the disappearance of the leader of the notorious Los Choneros gang from his cell in a Guayaquil prison.
Just like Pablo Escobar. If you remember the story of Pablo Escobar, he escaped too. Notorious drug lord. And now this guy in Ecuador has escaped also. I mean, this is pure drama, pure drama, pure evil. And this is crazy. We just got to call it out like it is and continue.
And Matt Rivers joins me now from San Antonio, Texas, with more on this. Matt, Ecuadorian officials say these 13 men are under arrest and facing charges. So what are you hearing about who they are and why they did this?
Yeah, so they're members of a smaller group of criminals, a gang there in Ecuador. And what the government is saying is that there were some 22 different groups that they've identified as being part of the violence that we saw spread throughout Guayaquil, Ecuador yesterday. And all of this is in response to that state of emergency.
There's 22 different types of gangs in Ecuador. I don't know how big Ecuador is, but I don't think it's that big. Matter of fact, we can check it out. Let's see how big Ecuador is. Let's see how big Ecuador is. That's Ecuador. It's pretty big. It's pretty big, but come on. 22 gangs. When is it going to stop?
That was declared. It was the leader of that group, Los Choneros, that managed to disappear from prison. And as a result of that, the president makes that state of emergency declaration. That gives the military in Ecuador the right to do a couple of things, including go out on the streets, conduct checkpoints, but also crucially enter and control Ecuador's prisons. And the criminals that have been inside of those prisons for years, they've really been controlling organized crime in Ecuador, running those groups from inside the prison. If the military goes in, the thought being that control would be lessened, organized crime would be less efficient, and that's why these groups are really reached out, branched out, lashed out yesterday in the way that they did, because they're upset over these new rights.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. They're literally just going up there, throwing gang signs, having a blast, like they're living their best life. And now all of them are going to prison for who knows how long. But this is nonsense, absolute nonsense. It just like what in your right mind would say, yeah, this is something that we should do. This is something, yeah, boys. Man, we should go into the news station with all of our guns and explosions, and hold them hostage until the police get there and arrest us. Yeah, man, that's a good idea. 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 Come on, bruv. Come on, bruv. We gotta do better.
It's given to Ecuador's military.
So, Matt, what is it like in Ecuador right now with this state of emergency in place and this notorious gang leader on the loose?
I mean, there's no doubt things are tense right now. I was texting with a friend whose parents live in Guayaquil, and what she was telling me is that, look, it was a tough day for the people of Guayaquil yesterday. Businesses are closed, restaurants are closed, schools were shut down. It's a very tense time in Ecuador right now, as it would be in any country where the military is out on the streets. But I think what we saw overnight was that people generally respected the curfew that's been put in place. We haven't seen any more scenes of violence that we saw play out there.
You know where I'm not going right now? Oh, you guessed it. Ecuador. I'm not going there. Not me. Nope.
There yesterday. So right now I would call it a tense calm, but still, anything could change.
All right, Matt Rivers, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt Rivers. You did a beautiful job bringing that news. That is unfortunate. That is very unfortunate. My thoughts are that they need to do something about that, which they are doing. They declared war on all the gangs. So that is something that we'll probably keep hearing about in the news. And we'll see how that goes for them. It's looking like it's their version of the cartel or whatever, just different little gangs like or the Blood and Crips maybe. But it's looking like they got a big problem in Ecuador, and I will not be traveling there. I have nothing against Ecuador, but I personally just do not need to be traveling there right now. And I'll go down with the ship.